and good day everyone. My name is Sandy V. Vergara and I will be your teacher for today. So are you ready? Alright, so let's get started. For today's discussion, we're going to discuss about the aspects of reading. So first, we have phonemic awareness. So do you have any idea what is phonemic awareness? Okay, correct. So phonemes, the smallest units making up spoken language, combines to form syllables and words. So phonemes is the name of the smallest units of sound. So phonemic awareness refers to the student's ability to focus and manipulate these phonemes in spoken syllables and words. So, to understand more what is phonemic awareness, we will have an example. If you give a student or if you ask your student to change the word bat to bat, they need to be able to hear the individual sounds within the word bat. So bat has 3 letters, which is P, the P sound, and A sound, and the T sound. And replace the P sound with a B sound to change the word bat into bat. And next we have phonics. So do you have any idea what is phonics? Yes. So let's read what is phonics. So phonics is the relationship between the letters or letter combinations in written language and the individual sounds in spoken language. Phonetics instruction teaches students how to use these relationships to read and spell words. So class, don't be confused between phonics and phonemic awareness. Always to remember that phonemic awareness is to identify and hear and to manipulate individual sounds or coded phonemes within the spoken words, while phonics is the relationship sounds and written letters. For us to understand more the difference between the phonemic awareness and phonics, let's give also an example. What is phonics? A student is sounding out the word cat. They know that letter C makes a K sound. The letter A makes an A sound. And the letter T makes a T sound. By blending these sounds together, they can read the word cat. This shows how phonics connects the individual sound of the word to their corresponding letters. So the third aspect of reading, we have fluency. So have an idea what is fluency? Alright, correct. Fluent readers are able to read orally with appropriate speed, accuracy, and proper expression. Fluency is the ability to read as well as we speak and to make sense of the text within having to stop and decode each word. So, example, a student is reading a passage aloud. They are able to read at a good pace without stumbling over words and with expression. So, for example, they raise their voice for excitement and lower it for sadness. So, this demonstrates fluency. So, if you are able to speak or to read text without stumbling and you put correct expressions of your emotions, you considered as fluent reader. Next, we have vocabulary. So vocabulary development is closely connected to comprehension. The larger the reader's vocabulary, either it's oral or print, the easier it is to make sense of the text. As vocabulary also refers to the words and phrases that readers knows and understand. So here it says that if a reader has a large vocabulary, they are more likely to understand the story they have read. So example, Jane reading a recipe and she encounters the word simmer. If she knows the meaning of simmer, she can understand that it means to cook something in liquid at low temperature. So here class, the example shows that the more words and phrases you know, the more you understand what it is all about. What is the purpose of the text or the author is trying to convey. We have down to our last aspect of reading. So it is comprehension. Comprehension is the complex cognitive process readers use to understand what they have read. So vocabulary development and instruction play a crucial role in comprehension. Reading without comprehending is essentially useless. It is really important to practice us readers to comprehend the stories we read, anything that needs comprehension. We need to study and apply comprehension class because it is very important in your read. Example of this class is if a student or you as a student read a passage about character who is feeling sad because they lost their favorite toy. So if the student can understand that the character is feeling sad and why, they were demonstrating comprehension. If you read a story that is just expressing his sadness indirectly, but you get the point. That is how comprehension works. So that's it. That's the end of my discussion about the aspects of reading.
Hello and good day everyone. I am Daniela Andrea Inclinar Sibua and I will be your teacher for today's discussion. We will going to discuss about perspective of reading. Have you ever read a book and wondered why different people interpret it in different ways? Well, that's because there are multiple perspectives through which we can analyze a text. Today, we will explore 5 key perspectives that can help us better understand literature. So first, let's talk about the authorial perspective. This perspective focuses on the author's viewpoint, intentions, and the context in which they wrote the text. Understanding an author's personal experiences, beliefs, and historical background can provide deeper insight into their writing. So, we can also ask questions like, what was the author's purpose? What tone are they conveying? What message are they trying to get across? For example, in Jose Garcia Villa's explanation of rhyming, his purpose is to educate readers on how to create rhymes effectively. By analyzing his intent, we can appreciate the depth of his insight and the reasoning behind his stylistic choices. So next, we have the textual perspective, which examines the structure, language, and literacy devices used in a text. This perspective helps us uncover hidden meanings and patterns within the text itself, separate from the author's intentions or the reader's feelings. Then, there's the reading response perspective, which focuses on how the reader interprets in the text. This approach highlights that meaning is subjective and shaped by personal experiences. Each reader might take away something different based on their background, emotions, and prior knowledge. For example, one reader might find Villa's explanation of rhyming helpful and engaging, while another might struggle with its complexity. Both interpretations are valid because they stem from individuals' backgrounds and perspectives, providing that meaning is not fixed but fluid. So next, the critical perspective. Critical perspective takes a deeper dive into themes, bases, and societal influences in a text. This perspective engages us to question assumptions, power structures, and the broader impact of literature on society. It also allows us to explore how text may reinforce or challenge dominant ideologies. For example, a critical reader might examine Villa's explanation of rhyming through the lens of language and cultural identity, considering how different languages shape poetic traditions. This approach helps uncover potential bases or cultural influences that impact the text's meaning. Lastly, we have the contextual perspective, considers the historical, cultural, and social backdrop in which a text was written. By understanding the external influences of a particular time period, we can better appreciate why text was written the way it was and how it resonates with contemporary readers. For instance, Villa's discussion of the rhyming can be placed in the broader context of 20th century poetry movements, where traditional and experimental forms were being debated. By analyzing the social and literary environment of the time, we gain richer understanding of his work. So that's the end of my discussion about the perspective of reading. So next time you read a book, try looking at it through these different perspectives, whether you focus on the author, the text, your own interpretation, critical analysis, or historical context. Each approach offers a unique way to deepen your understanding.
Good day everyone, my name is Dawson J. Depar from BSED English 2, and today, before we start, we're going to talk about reading preferences versus reading interest. And so for today's lesson, you are going to learn about what is reading preferences and reading interest. Understanding the differences between reading preferences and reading interest is crucial when selecting books for children and adolescents. Both play a role in keeping young readers engaged and fostering lifelong reading habits, but they serve different purposes. What is reading preferences? Reading preferences refers to the types of book, genres, or topics that children and adolescents constantly choose over time. These preferences are similar to a favorite hobby. They learn to stay the same unless something significant sparks a change. Preferences often reflect what a reader feels comfortable with or what they know or they enjoy. For example, a child who enjoys fantasy may consistently choose books like Harry Potter or Wings of Fire. They prefer these books because they enjoy magical worlds, exciting quests, and imaginative characters. Another example is a teenager who loves mystery novels may favor One of Us Lying because they enjoy solving puzzles and uncovering clues. What is reading interest? So, reading interest, on the other hand, are more flexible and change based on child's experience, current emotion, or what's happening in their life. Interests are like passing phases. They may be strong for a while but could shift as soon as a child is exposed to something new. Example, if a child just wanted a dinosaur movie, they may temporarily be interested in books about dinosaurs, like National Geographic Kids about dinosaurs. Another example is if a teenager develops a sudden fascination with space after visiting a science museum, they maybe read A Wrinkle in a Time to explore space-related themes.